Old medicines. Most people know that medicine wasn't always, well, safe. But if you think using leeches and bloodletting to get rid of bad blood was gruesome or weird, you have no idea. Trepanation was a surgical practice which dates back to 3000 BC, so of course, it's gonna be a weird and gross one. The process involved making holes in the skull via drilling or scraping away at the skin and bone. Oh, and the person was awake, because there was no anesthesia back in the good old days. The process developed in many different locations and cultures independently, such as ancient Greece, Africa, Polynesia, and East Asia, but no one really knows why people did this. Scholars theorize that it was to relieve headaches. Yeah, some genius in each of these places 7,000 years ago thought drilling a hole in the skull would stop pain. I know migraines can be bad, but this seemed desperate. During the Renaissance period, yes, this was still being used up to the 1600s, better tools, like the trepan, had been developed as trepanation was routinely practiced. Well, up until they realized that maybe the infections people were getting after the surgery were related to it, and worse than the headache in the first place. But does the horror end there? Nope, of course not. In the 21st century, there is the International Trepanation Advocacy Group, with real doctors who believe this works.
What?
No, thank you. I'll stick to taking paracetamol. From gross to just wrong and rude. The ancient Greeks believed in an ailment called a wandering womb, and it's as ridiculous as it sounds. People like Platos and Hippocrates believed that when women had anything wrong with them, it was because their womb had gone walkabouts in their bodies. So if a woman had a headache, vertigo, or fatigue, it was because her womb had moved up in her body. If a woman was suffering from choking or hysteria, or a very sudden incredible death, says physician Aretaeus of Cappadocia, it is because the womb has descended in the body. Aretaeus described the womb as an animal within an animal. Can this get more ridiculous, you ask? Yes, it can. Physicians thought that wombs were heavily affected by smells, so to cure it, doctors would use pleasant smells to lure the womb back into the right place, treating it like the animal within an animal. Somehow, I don't think potpourri is quite going to do the job. Back to the 18th century for more treatments, hemiglossectomy was a procedure that was believed to cure speech impediments, in particular, stuttering. Unlike in today's society, people will go to speech therapists or just not care too much about it, but not this post-medieval lot. So, what is a hemiglossectomy? Well, it's when doctors would cut off half the tongue. Yes, it is still a common practice today among cancer patients, but they get general anesthesia, a clean operating room, and probably something more technical and medical than a rusty pair of scissors. And guess what? It didn't work for stutters. And that's if you survived. A lot of the patients just ended up dying. Well, wasn't that a lovely and uplifting video? But we're done here. So, remember to leave us a comment with any other old medicine techniques we might find interesting, and subscribe for more content like this. Bye for now.